Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Alundra. Check it out, there's Bonaire already. I guess that means we saved him. We can leave now. Can we? I really don't care about this guy. It's not something I really want to invest a lot of time in. But you know, chronic hero syndrome, etc, etc. So anyway, remember what I said back when we were in Wendell's dream, that the dream worlds, as opposed to some of the sort of, so to speak, real-world dungeons, tend to serve as a repository for some of the more standard RPG puzzles that the game couldn't really fold into places like the coal mine, or the manor, or that kind of thing. So this dungeon is basically governed by your standard binary switch system where the blue and red blocks switch places depending upon whether or not you fit those dragon statues, just as I demonstrated at the start of this dungeon. Overall, this place is pretty easy. This is the central location. It contains a save point. We can come back here anytime to refill our health and our MP. We really won't need to. And in general, like a lot of dungeons of this type, you can just sort of wander around, hit the switches when you come across them. And you really won't have too much trouble in general. The word I would best use to describe this, and maybe it's because, you know, Bonaire's a pretty simple guy with his surfer speak and everything, and he doesn't really have, you know, a particularly complicated mind space, is, in terms of the dungeon, I guess it's kind of half-hearted. I mean, we had those spinning spikes, and those spikes that rotate back and forth to the left over there, but in general, there really isn't a lot of challenging platforming, and again, you can solve most of the puzzles just by wandering around and pushing everything. The hardest thing to do is what I did just there, knowing that you had to push those rocks, because there really isn't any indication to do anything to make some ladders appear, but otherwise, everything is pretty straightforward. So we get that switch over there, moving on, I believe, yes, we have to go down this red block that we turn transparent. There's a couple of keys, but really, for the most part, we're just going to wander around and hit the switches. There's one platforming segment that I believe bottlenecks me a little bit during this particular playthrough. But, I mean, this dungeon in general represents a big step up from Wendell's dream in terms of the dream worlds, but compared to the coal mine and Lars' crypt, which were both really involved and pretty challenging with some pretty obtuse hints, this is almost a letdown. Kill some of these guys. Yeah, these guys have basically replaced the slimes as your sort of dopey standard enemy of choice. They take the same number of hits, but they're a little bit more challenging because they have a long-range attack. Switch this back again. We're actually almost done with the blocks as it is, and we're only 2 minutes into the dungeon. Much like Wendell's dream. Again, this is much shorter than some of the real-world dungeons. Some coins would always be nice. We do have some more purchases to make. Obviously, in general, like in Zelda games, the piece of heart or the life vessel that we picked up is one of the most expensive things you can buy. But we do have a couple of extra pickups. And there is another life vessel that we have to buy from a different shop. Let's get up here. This is actually a very difficult hill to climb. It doesn't seem like it's all that hard, especially considering, yeah, see, all you have to do is get knocked over once, and it's surprisingly difficult to get Alundra to line up correctly, even with the little rocks in the way with the ladders. You can also fall directly off a ladder by pushing to the left or to the right when you're at the very top or at the very bottom. It's very aggravating. It took me a few tries and a few takes to get this correct, just in less than 2 tries, although maybe it's just because I'm terrible. Oh man, we found him again. I don't really want to interact with him. Of course, it's his brain, so he can move around as he wants. It certainly makes life more difficult for us. I do want that treasure chest, though. It does appeal to my, you know, sense of OCD in video games, so I guess we'll follow along for now. I mean, it's not like they'll let us leave until we save him anyway. Hitting this switch actually removes the block from the right side of this platform, so we can make a leap of faith over here, and what we want to do is pick up our mining bomb, drop it down to the switch, and let it detonate, causing a teleporter to appear for a very, very short period of time. Here we go. Now, of course, this is slightly in the wrong order. This is yet another locked door. What we'll want to do is find the other key, as opposed to, I mean, both of the keys we could have found while we were wandering around this room previously, but I only picked up one during the first trip. The second one is actually pretty easy to find. Again, I was sort of expecting this dungeon to be really linear in terms of how we would have to progress through it as we move the various switches, but I guess I missed that one little detail over there. These little ladders you actually have to reproduce or sort of get to reappear. Yeah, 3 in total. Okay. Let's get back up here again. I know it doesn't seem like it took me that many tries, but I probably had to climb these sets of ladders 8 or 9 times over the course of recording this particular room, so it got a little aggravating really quickly. Let's try this again. Bomb goes onto the lower floor. Switch goes off onto the teleporter. No, wrong. Yeah, you have a really short time frame to actually get that correct. The easiest thing to do is what I should have done before is just stand where it was going to appear in the first place, and that seems to have solved our problem. Plenty of grass here. Yeah, here's the only other place the blocks reappear. We want to pick up that treasure chest, and basically the easiest way to do that is to make the block reappear by hitting the dragon statue. The gift is required to move on and gives us the third and final key for this dungeon. We'll want the blocks the other way so we can get into this teleporter. And there we go, the life vessel for this dungeon. Right there. I mean, in general, the life vessels have been pretty easy to find, but we still have a little ways to go. The game just sort of handed it to us pretty early on. And this treasure chest is the Gilded Falcon. I mean, since this is a dream, technically it's a missable Gilded Falcon, but you really have to go out of your way not to get that one, you know? So that's not so bad. Like I said, this dungeon in general is half-hearted. We didn't have to go through any particular gymnastics to pick up the most important items, and I don't believe there are any other treasure chests. At least Wendell's dream had, you know, some herbs. By the way, I guess I should continue on with the commentary here, because this actually is going on in real time. I cannot accelerate this dialogue. We'd have to listen to the two of them talk. Sarah apparently is a servant of Melzus, who speaks, you know, in a reasonable dialect, but she actually picks up Bonaire's surfer speak the more they interact. So yes, indeed, hanging around Bonaire actually makes you dumber. Anyway, there they go. Yeah, see, she speaks at a reasonable pace, and she's not immortal. Believe me. Closest ghouls, I don't know if that's supposed to be a joke, you know, about like girlfriends or something, but she does in fact mean ghouls, the same ones we fought in the manor. Except the ones in the manor didn't have the, or it's just the crypt, didn't have that spike ball keeping them company. Still can't quite get the timing down and knocking them out of their charge attack, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, I probably should have thought about the timing on that before I ran under retreat. So that's enough of that. Now that we've taken care of the warm-up, it's time for the main boss battle. Yeah, Wave Runner, I thought referred to, you know, like, the DC superhero, or maybe, you know, another name for Alundra, but she's just talking about Bonaire. Yeah, assuming she's talking about, like, his soul or his mental aptitude, then yes, I can imagine Bonaire just makes a bit of a light snack. Anyway, she transforms shortly after this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, apparently we spoke in the middle there. The game can't quite decide if Alundra's supposed to be a mime or if he actually has dialogue, but we certainly don't get to have a lot of options to exercise. Anyway, here we go. She turns into a monster. This is considered the Sarah succubus. It doesn't really look like a Sarah, I should say. A couple of basic attacks. She'll form those three portals, which she will not be able, we'll actually be able to hit her during that. She'll dash at us, and the attack I'm waiting for is coming up soon after this next iteration of the portal attack. She'll form a wave of doppelgangers around her. What you want to do is spread a bunch of bombs around here, because as it turns out, there we go, yeah, one hit from a bomb kills Sarah. Remember, half-hearted. Nothing really takes a lot of effort in this dungeon. It's absolutely ridiculous. I was really glad I got that on the first try, because I was not expecting it to be as easy as I heard it was going to be. I remember when I played this game the first time when I was younger, I just used the sword, and that took quite a while. Remember, most of the bosses in this game have some sort of special damage formula, different from what the normal enemies use. Sarah's a very extreme example of that, in the sense that she actually, you know, goes down in one hit from something. Yeah, see? He's starting to pick up from Bonaire's server speak right here, or maybe she's just trying to appeal to him a little bit more. You stud. Yeah, okay. Hang on for something. Wave Boy from Wave Runner. Yeah, see? Bummed. See, there we go. Bummitude right there. Bummitude has 2 M's. It's not even a real word, and you still spelled it wrong. God. I really want to get out of here. I really want to just leave and never speak to him again. Thankfully, like it's standard RPG fashion, he's basically never relevant to the plot again after you solve his particular problem. So there we go. Unfortunately, she left us with a really worrisome parting message, so let's go see how this resolves itself. Remember, at the same time that we were taking care of this, you know, Phineas was exhausted for whatever reason, and Nadia was about to pass out from exhaustion. Yeah, no, she's not history, she just wandered off. She claimed to be immortal. I don't really know. We don't really hear about her after this particular scenario either. Yeah, okay. Yep, it was gnarly, tubular, radical, way cool, funky, mondo, awesome, whatever the 8th one is, I forget. It's been a while since I played the game. There we go, gnarly. A big bad 11 on the sphincter pucker meter. Okay, that was actually kind of clever. I might have to find a way to use that in everyday life. Somehow. Yeah, this is supposedly, a story of, tragic love left unrequited. Septimus, of course, knows exactly what was going on, even though he just walked into the room. And yeah, so basically, as heroes, we suck. I mean, we failed to save all 4 of the miners, and now Nadia's dead, the first sort of actual person who lived inside the village to go. I believe that makes us, considering we saved Bonaire, who I didn't really want to save, and Wendell, who was an old man, we're 2 for 7 in terms of saving people. And we don't really feel particularly accomplished. But look on the bright side. For one, it's morning, and you can hear in the background a little bit. Let's save our game quickly. You can hear in the background Jess working at his smithy. Let's go check that out. Remember when Olin died, Jess made us the mining bomb, or I don't know if he would craft a mining bomb. Certainly he had one for us. So we got a new inventory item when Nadia died, much like we did when Olin died. Let's go pick it up. We get the iron flail. The game doesn't use any punctuation here, to sort of denote the fact that there's actually supposed to be some seriousness to this whole issue. Notice we have a lot of empty inventory slots. If we get one new inventory item every time someone in the village dies, I don't think we have enough villagers to fill up all those spots. I don't think this is a sustainable method of picking up, the items that we need to progress in the game. Anyway, let's go test out the flail. I'm also looking for a good opportunity to test out the magic. I was hoping to do it on a boss, but again, this boss didn't really have a lot of staying power, or I should say, Sarah. The flail, of course, can cut down grass, which makes a lot of sense. Maybe, I don't know. But it certainly won't stop us from continuing to grind on the grass like I have been the entire game, so that's nice, I guess. It's about twice as powerful as the sword, as the knife. Check this out, there's an archway up here. This will probably be important later. It certainly looks significant, so I figured I might as well just walk around here and show it off once. I passed by it during one of the previous videos, but you could only see it sort of at the corner or the edge of the screen, so let's take a little better look at it. Let's take a minute to explore, because, I mean, obviously there must be a reason we were given this flail, right? It's not just a weapon, like the sword which we use to sort of cut grass and hit switches. There must be some gameplay purpose of the flail. Remember, Mead, when we spoke to him, said that, first off, a bridge had been unblocked. So, and that's the bridge right there to the east. We'll go over that in a minute, but first let's explore a little bit. Actually, first let's cut some grass, and then we'll go explore a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Despair Desert to the right. Well, we're probably despairing, since someone just died. Can't get that treasure chest quite yet. Or at least I don't believe so. I am often proved wrong in retrospect once I've finished filming these and gone back to reflect on what I missed. That's a new enemy. I believe it's called an ogre, but I'm not really too concerned with that right now. What we really wanted was that block over there, which we could knock over with the flail. That's basically the general gameplay point of having the flail. You can knock down those barricades. As you can imagine, there's one on the other side of the bridge, too, which is part of what would be keeping us from progressing with the story if we somehow got through the blockade that was there, sort of as part of the plot. Wander around back here. Now, remember back when we passed by the manor, maybe you don't remember, back when we passed by the manor, there were 4 treasure chests blocked by some brambles. The brambles, of course, you can burn down using another item, some fire-related item that we haven't picked up yet. But we can also take the back way. And this gets us... I don't know why this had to be 4 separate treasure chests. Each of these contains one of those gold bars worth 30 guilder apiece. And of course, we do have some other purchases to make, so this is a nice sort of infusion to our wallet as we proceed along. We're actually... The last thing I'm going to do before I finish this episode is visit the other shop, because it happens to be on the way to our next destination in the overall storyline. So we can pass by the desert. As you can see, we can use the flail to unblock the roadblock leading to that general area. I mean, we must be in a desert, right? There's a huge sandstorm. That little chest on the island there sort of implies we'll eventually have a means to swim. We can't do it yet. Heading down to the bottom and to the right over here. Yeah, this is the Cliffs of Madness, I believe. Yeah, Cliffs of Madness, going up to the Despair Desert. Happy sounding place, I'm enthusiastic about this. Another one of those archways. You can probably infer what they're used for, or will be used for eventually, considering their locations. And this is the second shop, and a smith. He's basically all the relevant villagers in a Noah village rolled into one. Check it on the left. We're going to pick up our first armor upgrade, the leather armor. It's 120 Gilder. It's the only one we can outright buy, so we might as well get it now. The Village Boys, yes, okay, another reference. Anyway, I've had enough of this for now, so we'll go cover the Cliffs of Madness on the next episode of Let's Play Alundra. I'll see you then.